Hello, this is Attorney Brian Pendergraft with the Pendergraft firm, and today's video it was actually suggested by a watcher of mine, Mrs. Dana Reed. So thank you for suggesting this video, and the topic is very relevant actually. So it's called the title of this article is "Some Landlords Are Legally Spying on Tenant Stimulus Check Status," and it's by Shahid Zeev with and this was published on Forbes. And in a nutshell, what's going on here is that what this guy's reporting on is that what some landlords are doing is they are using the IRS's um get they're using the IRS's, I guess, get my payment tool in order to track their tenants. Well, it's not for this, by the way. So there's this get my payment tool that allows for people to check on the status of their stimulus checks. Now, what landlords are doing is because they have access to the tenant social security number and their date of birth, they are entering in that information so they could see if a tenant has received a stimulus check, and then they are essentially they are harassing that tenant or contacting that tenant saying, hey, I know you got your stimulus check, pay me money, essentially. So that's what's happening. And if landlords that are doing it like that, they are not only is it illegal, but you're kind of ruining things for the rest of the landlords out here, for the good landlords, and you're ruining it for landlords attorneys such as myself. So if you're watching this, please don't do that. All right. I understand, landlord, you got to get paid, but that is not how you go about it. So let's dive into the first paragraph of this article. So stimulus checks, stimulus payments intended to help those struggling due to the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic started reaching Americans last week. The Treasury Department and Internal Revenue Service (IRS) expected up to 80 million Americans to receive their payments via direct deposit by April 15th, with paper checks being mailed starting next week. While millions are awaiting their payments to help with necessities, landlords are also eager for their payments to receive stimulus checks so they can pay rent. Unfortunately, some landlords have not been waiting patiently. Instead, some appear to be resorting to illegal tactics to learn when their tenants are receiving their payments in order to pressure them to pay. Um, yeah, so that is a yeah, very very illegal thing for landlords to do. But that said, what I'm not gonna read the rest of the article. What I want to do is actually I want to hop into the Get My Payment tool real quick so we can take a look at it. So let me pull up this Get My Payment tool so you can see just how easy and way too easy the system is to use. All right, so we're gonna check on Get My Payment here. All right, so and it says it warns you right up front. This U.S. government system is for authorized use only, and it lets you know that if you for unauthorized use, it is subject to criminal and civil penalties. And the penalties they can and the penalties both criminal, as in by criminal, by the way, that means you can go to jail for this, you can get locked up for this essentially. And civil penalties, they're going to be a lot of money. So you do not want to be if you're a landlord, please don't do that. All right. Then you click OK here, and then you can see just how easy it is to the information that you need to enter in. Landlords have all this information generally. If they're good landlords, they have it. The social security number or a tax ID number. So you have your tenant's SSN, you got their date of birth, you got the street address, you got the zip code. So it's very easy to I guess check on the status of a payment, and you're supposed to only use it for your own payments. But you know what? This is America, man, and that's not how. That's why we have lawyers, because people don't do the right thing, I guess. So um that there, let's scroll further down because they had this conversation here. I want to hop into this conversation so we can kind of to see what happened. So here is a I guess a supposed actual conversation of an exchange between a landlord and a tenant. So this is who you do not want to be. So landlord, see what he says. You got your stimulus. Just asking, are you going to pay rent or part of rent, with any? I'm trying to close out the books for April. And the tenant says, how do you know I got my check? Because I had to check several people today and checked yours also. People were calling me. How did you check it? Online. Where? IRS. So you access the information on the IRS website? Did you let me pause right here. So how'd you check it online? Where? IRS. It's like the landlord just admitted to a crime. First, you shouldn't do it at all. Landlord shouldn't do it at all. I do not want to see like I'm advising landlords to do it if I'm about to say next. But If you're going to do it, don't admit to it. Don't actually put it in writing that you've committed the crime. Um, yeah, don't do that. Granted, don't do it at all. All right, don't take that as me saying, go and do it on the low and don't say anything. Really, don't do it at all. But this landlord was, not only was he dumb enough to do it, but dumb enough to admit it, and tell the world that he did it. So this landlord deserves to get screwed in my landlord deserves to get messed up. Anyways, so you access this information on the IRS website. Did you like use my SSN for that or something? So again, and so then yes, and then the landlord replies, yes. I just with everyone who called me today and yesterday. So not, oh man. So not only did he admit to doing it once, he admitted to doing it for everyone, apparently. So it's not just one person, it's two, three, four, five, six. So what that means is that now I looked up the penalties, the penalties for the civil and criminal penalties. I'm not going to go through them here. I feel like that'll add a little bit too much to this video, but just know that there are the penalties can be quite extensive, but for each offense, it actually it's cumulative, right? The punishments actually get more severe the more people abuse the more offenses someone occurs. Kind of like getting a DUI. The second, if you get one DUI, you may get your sentence. I mean, it may be very bad. You go on for a second or third time, you're looking to be put away for an extremely long time. That's kind of how it works. So this guy admitted to not just committing the crime once, but as far as we know, he's did it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So man, that is not good. So he said, yes, I just everyone who called me today and yesterday. So are you going to be making a payment towards rent so I can close the books out for April? So essentially, he's used the IRS tool to gather that information and then to harass his tenant. Not a good idea. Again, IRS civil and criminal penalties for doing that. In addition, here is the Maryland like Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, essentially. So essentially, if you want to, if someone owes you money and you have to, and you want to collect the debt from them, you have to follow fair debt collection practices. And different states have their own statutes. So not only is this against, the federal laws that I was just speaking about, but it's also your state may have their own laws essentially that prohibit that kind of activity. And again, I primarily practice in Maryland, so this is coming from the Maryland version of our Fair Debt Collection Act. But your state probably has something similar to this. So it says here, in collecting or attempting to collect an alleged debt, a collector may not. Let's go further down here to point number 6. Communicate with a debtor or person related to him with a frequency at the unusual hours or in any other manner as reasonably can be expected to abuse or harass the debtor. So that last sentence is kind of that last part is a bit of a catch-all, but I do think that that particular communication, that the way that the landlord is going about trying to get that money that they are owed, I definitely think that can be I think that is reasonably can be perceived as harassment. This The landlord is definitely abusing the tenant's personal information to get information that they should not have. All right. So yeah, so if you're a landlord, don't do that. And again, I have nothing against landlords. In fact, I love landlords. I mean, I primarily represent landlords, but this is landlords that are doing that to make it hard for landlords, to make it hard for landlord attorneys such as